very much for bringing that up.
Thank you very much. Mike Bossio.
Thank you so much, Minister, for being here today, as well as your staff. We appreciate you coming out to meet with us. Our committee has just spent a number of meetings studying the FSDA and the FSDS. One of the key deficiencies identified has been making government more accountable around the FSDA and SDGs. It has been suggested that we need to legislate the government must use the 3 pillars of social, economic, and environmental consideration be given in all decisions or program development or projects. That we should legislate that long-term objectives be established, and then short, medium, and long-term targets and goals be set to meet these long-term sustainability objectives, and that these goals and targets should meet the requirements of the SMART process. That we should take a whole-of-government approach and create a central agency, for example, elevating the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development to a sustainability, or like Wales has done, the Minister for the Wellbeing of Future Generations. As well, that we should increase the enforcement capability of the Environment Commissioner or Sustainable Development Commissioner, whatever that title may be, to enforce the compliance with stated goals, and also to create a forward-looking agent to hold government accountable to the long-term objectives for, once again, for the well-being of future generations. Can you please share your thoughts on these objectives and on these proposals?
Thank you very much, and I appreciate all the hard work. I know the committee has been looking at our SDSG strategy and providing, looking at different options. I know that I had a chance to read David Boyd's submission. I think you referred to many points that he raised. So I'm certainly interested in hearing about how we can improve it. So you will laugh, possibly, but if you ask any of the members of Cabinet, all I do is tell them that we need a whole-of-government approach when it comes to tackling climate change and making sure that we have, strategy in place that shows that we are a leader. And that's what we want to be, and it's challenging. So, certainly looking at what are the opportunities across the board to bring together different departments. I think as part of the SDS strategy, I think we have close to 40, or we maybe have more than 40 departments that are involved. And so it is a bit of a challenge. I think everyone is extremely committed to looking at how we can do better, but it's something that requires work. What we did this year, and as I say, the report is not perfect. That's why it's a draft, and I certainly appreciate the feedback of the committee. We did link it with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And I think that's very important. The Sustainable Development Goals are something that I certainly care deeply about. They obviously go beyond just environmental goals. I mean, they talk about tackling poverty, and the Sustainable Development Strategy, the Act, is looking at how does government across the board tackle environmental issues. So it's not necessarily a perfect fit, but there are certainly goals that are aligned with what government is doing. There could not be a better example than climate change. That is certainly cross-cutting, and it fits extraordinarily well with the Sustainable Development Goal to tackle climate change. So I certainly welcome suggestions and comments, and I know the Commissioner has appeared here. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. We also have public consultations that are ongoing across Canada to receive suggestions from all Canadians, and I'm very active when I meet with anyone, when I meet with business, when I meet with environmental groups, when I meet with Indigenous groups, when I meet with climate activists, when I meet with youth. I say, please provide your suggestions about how we can strengthen what government is doing and really be a leader.
Any time left?
Yeah, you've got 2 minutes.
Okay, great. So I'm really proud of our government's moving forward on climate change and beginning to establish a carbon pricing mechanism for energy and carbon. But the elephant in the room that many don't talk about is consumption itself. So carbon is one piece of the climate change model, Sustainable Development Goals. To me, consumption is the core of the issue around climate change, and carbon pricing is the first time that we're actually pricing the consumption into our economic model. What do you feel is the next area of consumption that we should consider pricing into that economic model?
Well, thank you for that, because I agree it's an important point. And carbon pricing is key. I was actually just in Washington this week speaking with CEOs and environmentalists and political leaders about the importance of carbon pricing, because we need to price what we want less of, pollution, and reward behavior that, reward cleaner solutions. And so that is an important mechanism. I would say that we aren't quite there yet, so I'm glad you're very optimistic. We still are, we have a process to go through with the provinces and territories. I mean, it depends when you talk about pricing consumption. I think there's a number of different models, but I think, one area that I think a lot about where we can do a lot better is efficiency. I mean, we're wasteful when it comes to, when you look at where emissions are coming from, buildings and vehicles. Those are huge areas where if we have efficiency standards, we can produce less pollution. And I think that, that's part of, once again, the working group process that's been established.